We can probably agree that the most awesome superpower that you can have in this game is to be completely free-flowing. And what does that actually mean? And is it truly possible to be completely free-flowing? Well, let's think about what it actually means. It means that you are fully source, one-to-one, in the game, without any limitations of your physical body or your mind in any way whatsoever. And what would that look like? Well, it would give you the ability to fully create whatever you want, whenever you want. And what does that mean? Whatever you want. That means something totally different than to create anything. Because it's very difficult to create things that you don't want. And becoming free-flowing is really a simple enough thing. Especially if you have completed inner alchemy, it's kinda necessary. You need some maturity, some things need to happen inside of you for you to really be free-flowing. And let's repeat it, free-flowing essentially just means that you can create whatever you want. And of course it might be difficult or impossible to create the things that you don't want. And by want, I essentially mean you as a source might want to create a great day that might be very natural for you to follow through with, and it might be very difficult for you to put a lot of energy into creating a totally miserable day. And the same goes for all other things you could possibly create. First of all, is it even possible to be completely free-flowing, meaning one-to-one with source on a constant basis? Unfortunately, that's not possible. Source is too infinite, too big. If you want to grow in this game, which essentially means to go from being pure light, or you could call it in the moment, to encountering a shadow, which means that you're not pure light anymore, you have a shadow, and you might need some knowledge, some growth to overcome it, so that you can be pure light again, then you can see that it's not really possible to truly constantly be fully free-flowing in this game. If you want to grow, then you might have to learn something. And that can be challenging. But you know, at some point in this game, when your maturity is high enough, and when your ability to be free-flowing is good enough, then you're not really going to be taken down whenever you recognize that you have some growth that can happen if you want to. So in the previous video we talked about the exercise, where you sit like this, or you can lay down, or you can do it on the go. The exercise of essentially just being whatever you want, really stepping into the frequency of whatever you want the most. It could be to be free-flowing. And if you practice, if you maybe even just practice a little bit, you might very soon recognize that it is simpler than you think to simply just be. And you might also recognize that you're not really able to fully be like you might sense possible. It is only when you have done the steps necessary internally, with your breathing and with your intent and by holding everything with an open hand, that you will complete inner alchemy. When you don't have complete inner alchemy, you're really able to just fully be. And of course, again, when you want to grow, you might have to learn something. There might be something that you need to understand for you to be able to fully be again. And when I say be, I mean to be pure light, to be fully here and now, whole and complete in the moment. You know, this is something that one should practice a lot. If this is something you want to accomplish, then practice it a lot. And understand the difference between the two types of work you can do in this game. One of them is to overcome shadows, one of them is to simply just be. Those are two different things and should be treated differently. They're both equally as important, essentially. And of course you don't need to sit down to do it. You do it as you go about your day. So essentially what we have just said here now is that you will always be challenged. If you want to grow and be more whole and complete and to shine bright, shine brighter, then you will be challenged because there will be something internally in you that you need to work with to really be able to shine that bright. So you might of course encounter situations in life where you want to grow, you recognize that you need to let go of something, but it's not so easy. Well, if you are going to be very accomplished in this game and to have control over yourself, to truly have the ability to be free, to be in control, then you will be challenged. And you will benefit from being truly good, truly accomplished in shadow work, in understanding the concept of being free-flowing, and to be someone who is figuring it out, because you will have to do that a lot. It's going to be a big part of your life if you really want to grow on a constant basis. But in the videos we have made on this channel, we've talked a lot about shadow work. Get a good grasp of the different type of things that have been talked about, because they are very essential. Sometimes the shadow doesn't know that it's a shadow, so it's very difficult to even catch it. It can be very difficult to catch underlying subconscious issues or even behaviors if you don't even know that it's a lower frequency. But the only thing you recognize is that you're not really free. Do you see? It's an important thing. Other than that, understand whether or not you really care to work with that thing at that moment. Then it can be very challenging. Also understand that things might not be as bad as it seems in the moment when things seem bad. You know, when it rains it pours. That is pretty true. If you are negative, things are going to seem a little negative, and vice versa. If you are tired, if you are really interested in doing something else instead, then it's not going to be wise to dwell on something that might actually not be a problem. Something that might take care of itself with a little sleep, or just a positive mindset that you might get from sleeping. If you want to be free-flowing, then you can be, absolutely. It's much more accomplishable than you might think, especially since you have the truth. If you can do the work, practice being pure light, practice being source, practice being aligned and whole, but just see that if you want to grow, then you will have to overcome some challenges. That's just the way it is. You might have to learn something, and it truly can be enjoyable. It's a mystery for you to solve, it's a challenge to overcome, and you would get tired of this game quickly if you couldn't have things like that to dabble with. So if you have benefited from this video, kindly consider becoming a supporter. Abundance, health and prosperity to you. Thank you so much.